You take it away,
How many of
David.
you are familiar with what's going on in the professional golf world right now with the LIV tour?
Not
No?
until last week when Mary brought it up.
Okay. All right. In a nutshell, the PGA Tour has been around for many, many, many years. Okay, and we have got and there's the 19th hole at the golf course that I'm going to be playing tomorrow, right behind Jeffrey, right there, and so for many and the PGA Tour is like a trade association. Okay, when a PGA player becomes qualifies for the tour, they become a member of the association and they pay dues and that stuff. And so the trade association basically runs a series of golf tournaments that are primarily for the PGA Tour members. They do they do enable other people to be able to play in them a little bit, but for the most part, the PGA Tour then has created this annual series of events, not just across the U.S., but also including a little bit of around the world type of stuff, and some of the tournaments are very old, some of the tournaments are very new. The very old tournaments, there are tournaments there that have been around for 50 plus years. And have they're tournaments that I played in and when I was on the PGA Tour and that are still around. A lot of them are not, but when you think of the history of golf, we all know names like Arnold Palmer, and Jack Nicklaus and people like that. These people were the legacy of the PGA Golf Tour. Now the PGA Tour is different from the PGA. Just quickly, the PGA represents the golf pros who are, say, at country clubs and at public golf courses and things like that. That's the professional golfers of America. Those are the people who are kind of, they're the business side of golf. The PGA Tour is the playing side, the competing side. And so they are very separate organizations. So they have a series of events around the world. It's typically around 35 events a year that they have. The average tour event has a purse. In other words, the money that the players play for, the average one is around $7 to $8 million for the total purse, which means that the winner of the tournament would get, and the winner always gets 15% of the purse. So if it's a $7 million tournament, then it's a little over $1 million for the winner of that week. Now, and they have a couple of events that are much bigger. The biggest event of all is the FedEx Championship Cup, which is kind of like the Super Bowl of golf, of the PGA Tour golf at the end of the year. And that has a $20 million purse. So then the winner gets like $3 million. And now we all know this is not small change. Okay. The guys that are winning, that are up there and they're playing well, they're making a lot of money. Now, there are things that a lot of people who are not golfers don't completely understand. And that is that for the most part, actually not for the most part, the players on the PGA Tour are essentially independent contractors. Okay. They pay to be a member of the tour. When they want to play in certain tournaments, there are entry fees into the tournaments, and the entry fees, they're not super steep, but maybe a couple $1,000 to play in a tournament. And then they pay for all of their own expenses. They're just like a business. Okay. They pay for their travel. They pay for when they hire a caddy to caddy for them, the caddy, and the caddies typically get a certain, they agree to a certain fee with the people. A lot of these guys now have permanent caddies, and they have a percentage of their winnings that go to their caddies. They also have golf coaches, swing coaches. They have mental coaches. They have physical. They have fitness coaches. Some of them have cooks, chefs. I mean, you just think about all the different things that might go into the making of a professional athlete. And in today's world, and it was Tiger who made the change, who changed all that stuff. But of course, Tiger was also responsible for how much money is out there right now. Initially, it was Arnold Palmer. When I was playing on the PGA Tour, it was amazing if somebody won $100,000 in a year. Okay, it was absolutely amazing. All right, and like I said, now the average first place is $1 million for these guys. Okay, so there are a lot of people who are making $1 million over a period of a year. But again, they're paying their way. So now, what does this have to do with business? Our perspective of business. Well, I'm sure that many of you have gone through SWOT analysis, right? I need a more enthusiastic response because I can't really see that well. All right.
Yes.
Got a small screen. Everybody's gone through this. SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, for many years, I thought when I would take my clients through the SWOT analysis, I was always bothered by because when we talk about that stuff, it's essentially two things. All right, strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal. We have our strengths. We have our weaknesses. Okay, they are internal. We identify those. We identify whether we want to increase our strengths. We identify whether we want to fix our weaknesses. Right, and then we have opportunities and threats. Those are external. Okay, and we look at the opportunities and we say, okay, which of those opportunities fits best with our strengths? Or if we fix a weakness, is that a new opportunity for us? And that's kind of that discussion right there. The threat part of the conversation typically is the weakest part of the conversation, because you get into these, you say, okay, well, what threats do we have? Well, there are threats of weather. There's threats of COVID. There's threats of supply chain. There's threats of all this sort of stuff. And this is all well and good. But and while we can look at that stuff and say, all right, how do we plan? How do we prepare for stuff like that? We cannot impact any of that stuff. Okay, so we have to prepare for it. But in all of my conversations over the years with those, that conversation has always been the weakest, and I always kept asking myself, why is this the weakest, and what is wrong with it? And then I realized what is wrong with it is that we are missing another T. So when I do a SWOT analysis, I do an SWOTT analysis. So we go through the traditional SWOT, and after the first T is done, then I say, okay, now let's talk about the second T. And the second T is the scariest one of all, because this is not just a threat. This is a killer asteroid from outer space, is what it is. Now, here's what I mean by this. Imagine that somebody knows your business as well as you do. Okay? They know everything about you. They know your financials. They know your employees. They know the culture. They know the history. And they know your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, and probably also the threats. They know everything, which means they know where the gaps are. They know where you are vulnerable. Okay, and they decide they want to put you out of business. We often hear about companies where there are disgruntled employees very high in management. They know where all the skeletons are buried, right? They know everything. And they start businesses to kill the other business. That's exactly what is happening right now with the PGA Tour. PGA Tour, as I explained to you for years. Now, in addition to the fact that these are independent contractors, when they play every week, they are not guaranteed any money. The way the tour works is, okay, I, without getting into all of the details of it, just understand that there is a certain there's a block of there is a block of tour players, and we'll say it's 200. I think it's like 220 people right now have what is known as a PGA Tour card. Okay, and week to week, they are automatically qualified to play in a tournament, or I should say, they're automatically allowed to play in a tournament if they choose to, if they have passed certain qualifications. One qualification, for example, is if you are a winner of the U.S. Open, one of the major tournaments, or the biggest tournament in the United States. Okay, if you are a winner of the U.S. Open, you are qualified to play in basically the entire tour for 5 years. Every tournament in the tour for 5 years. Okay, that's a simple way of putting it. Okay, but so there are so there are like and if you've won a certain amount of money, then you qualify. If you are a certain part, if you've reached a certain level of money on the tour, you qualify to play. But not every tour player is qualifies every week, so they have to kind of try to push. Sometimes they have to play on Monday. There's a Monday thing called Monday qualifying, and there might be 100 of these guys, and there might be 10 spots open in the tournament on Thursday morning. And so they're playing for that. So, and then when they tee off on Thursday morning, they're still not guaranteed a check. It's 4 rounds of golf. But what it is you play Thursday and you play Friday. And the average tournament has 144 players teeing off on Thursday morning. And then at the end of Friday's round, they cut to the low 70 and ties. Everybody else goes home. No money. The low 70 and ties then get to play on Saturday and Sunday to see who wins the tournament and who gets the money. All right. Independent contractors, if they don't make the cut, they don't make any money. That was me. And so now what's happened is that the PGA Tour, the people who were players on the tour for years and years and years, they all know what's going on here. They all understand this. They all understand everything about the tour pretty much, especially if you're a member. You know where all the skeletons are buried. And the thing that has kept the tour as the preeminent place to play for many, many years is the legacy. Is the legacy of knowing that you can have your name. If you win this tournament, that could be a tournament maybe 50 years ago Arnold Palmer won, and so that trophy you could see Arnold Palmer's name is etched into the trophy, and now your name gets to be put on that trophy. And so there's something about that to know that your name is now on there with one of the greatest players of all time. Right. So that legacy has always been that pull for these people. Well, Greg Norman, who used to be one of the best players in the world, and who decided years ago he wants to kill the PGA Tour. He got very disgruntled. He wanted to create a bigger world tour, and go around the world and have people. And he wanted the PGA Tour to help him do this. And the PGA Tour said, "No, Greg, thank you very much, but you go away and go play by yourself, and we'll run." And then the PGA Tour started to create this sort of world thing, right? Without Greg. Greg got pissed, and I don't know how it happened, all right, but Greg found Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia has all the money in the world that they are not allowed. I mean, that they want to keep, and they're allowing the rest of us to keep our money. I mean, it's kind of like it's what it is. I mean, they have too much money, and so they have a department in their government, in the Saudi Arabian government, and that department decided, hey, yeah, Greg, let's start another tour. And the way and what we know is that the weaknesses of the PGA Tour is, number one, the players are not guaranteed any money. Number two, the players have to play a lot of tournaments. Okay, out of the 35 tournaments, they probably have to play at least 25 to plus tournaments a year, which means they're traveling, they're away from their families, all this sort of stuff, and hope that they make the cut on Friday to make money on the weekend, right? And and they're especially the fact that they're not guaranteed any money, So Greg found the Saudis said, "Oh heck, Greg, here's a blank check. Go out and sign contracts with these guys to give them guaranteed money and tell them to come over and play in our tournaments, which compete." So like this weekend, they're playing in Portland, the LIV Tour, or as some people call it, the 54
Portland, Oregon, yeah.
The 54 Tour. It's the LIV. And they're playing at Pumpkin Ridge in Portland. Pumpkin Ridge, where Kelly competed as a college golfer. And the same weekend, there's a PGA Tour event, and I think it's the John Deere Classic up in Moline. Where's Moline? Illinois. Right. And so beautiful downtown Moline, Illinois, with the John Deere Classic. So now first of all, the purse for the Moline John Deere Classic, $7 million. All right. The purse for the LIV tournament next week is $25 million. The winner will get $4+ million, $4.5 million. In Portland, there are only 48 players. There is no cut. They're not playing 4 rounds of golf. They're only playing 3 rounds of golf. And no cut. Last place pays $120,000. Okay. The guy who came in the very first tournament that was held 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in London, the guy who came in last in London made more money coming in last than he had the previous 3 years on the PGA Golf Tour. Now, what they've also done is they have gone out and they have signed with people like Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson. Well, we all know who Phil Mickelson is. All right. Phil Mickelson has been a thorn in the side of the PGA Tour for a while. He's also got a gambling problem. Everybody knows he has a gambling problem. He knows he has a gambling problem. There were rumors going into this that he owed $40 million to some gambling people. And he tried to, and he's kind of started supporting this rumor that this LIV tour was going to come out, right? And really pissed a lot of people off. So the PGA Tour said anybody who signs up with the LIV tour is now kicked out of the PGA, for life. So the rumor is, and I think it's pretty accurate, the Saudis paid Phil Mickelson $250 million to sign to play with their tour. Dustin Johnson signed for $100 million. these people are, they are throwing money at these guys like huge, 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 life-changing money at these guys. They're only going to have, this year, they're only going to have 8 tournaments. The guys can then go play and still win more money than what they're getting in their contracts. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about when I say to a company, what if somebody wanted to put you out of business? And this is a perfect example, because right now I am not convinced that the PGA Tour is going to last for very long. Because every week the LIV Tour is announcing new people who they are signing contracts with. They got people that are but wait, what's the question here? What is the last? Oh, what is the last T? Oh yeah, you're asking people, yeah, what's the last T?
No, the SWOT. You said there's another T that should belong on the SWOT analysis.
That's what I said. It's the threat.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about this kind of a threat.
I see.
The threat of somebody who knows everything about you. My own wife doesn't know this. I've been teaching this for years. My own smoking hot wife doesn't know. It is the threat of somebody who knows everything about you and knows all of your weaknesses and then figures out a way to go out and kill you. And I had this conversation with one of our clients recently, the owner of Zaresco, and I brought that up. I said, I said, his number 2 is a guy named Buzz, and I said, what if you and Buzz have a falling out? Buzz knows everything. Buzz knows everything, and we have read about this many, many times over the years in companies where somebody, some very trusted advisor, very high. Yeah, there you go. Kay has tried to put me out of business for years. And in case you don't know it, I have no money. Okay. She has completely taken it all. And I am now a subservient.
It's called marriage, honey. Just relax.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so you see, here's a perfect example that this can and this has happened before. The PGA Tour is going to really struggle to stick around. They are going to struggle because they don't have $1 billion to just give away. They can't just change their whole business model overnight. They can't do it without some huge problems. Now, all that said, I welcome your comments. I do want to make one comment about like if they do kill the PGA Tour, then what? My question is, what if, and I think this is a very legitimate question, what if the Saudis get bored? They don't care about the money. What if they
care about the golf?
What if they lose? They don't care about the golf. What if they just lose interest and they go, let's go find another. We did it with we killed these guys. I'll bet we can go do it in another place. So that'll be interesting to see what happens to golf. As that goes along. All right. What are your comments now? I did all the talking. You heard my perspective. Does this make you want to run home and hug your teddy bear?
I can definitely see how that can happen. I think our competitors who were newer and younger that weren't bound by the same old infrastructure that my 75-year-old company was bound to, and we weren't able to pivot fast enough, and we were in the process of losing market share and the problems that are associated with that. So not exactly the same thing, because they didn't necessarily know the skeletons in our closet, although they kind of did, because some of the people that are coming and causing problems for us used to be distributors. So they know a little bit of that, but it's sort of that same idea that you have this big company that move slowly because it's grown so big over the years, and somebody, smaller and able to pivot faster can really cause a lot of problems.
Yep.
And it can also happen with a small company where a large company wants to just take over the territory or their sales efforts. They say, look, we'll cut the price down to below cost and you suffer through it until you give up, and then we'll have the customers.
And
that can happen. That's a threat.
I think arrogance is a part of it. I mean, I think that the leadership in the PGA just, they lost some perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. I always say to my clients, you need to practice healthy paranoia. Because just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you.
Do you think that there's a way, kind of going back to your question, what happens if the Saudis say this is boring and they say, okay, we're not going to do it anymore? Do you think that there is a world where the PGA could have a business model where everybody gets paid, works? Do you think they could figure that out even if it took them some time? Or do you think that the way golf used to work when they were running the show, what the Saudis are doing just can't work, at least with the way that...
I don't see it. I don't see how the Saudis. I don't see how this can last for very long.
Yeah.
No, when you have a company that's trying to battle a government that has a bottomless checkbook, there's no chance of outspending them or coming back with any kind of monetary guarantees that are going to even remotely match what they got going on. So,
yeah.
And there's not enough sponsorship money on the earth, to match that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like you say, government versus private.
Yeah. We see a little bit right now in the pet industry. We've got our giant in the pet industry right now is Chewy online. And they basically have never made money since being established in 2000, but yet they're generating millions of dollars. Of course, now they're publicly owned, and they're also getting a flow, and they've got all of this possibility of somebody making money once they have killed off the rest of that group.
Guys, who's the most famous example?
Bookstores.
Amazon.
Yeah, bookstores.
Amazon is the most famous example. How many years did Amazon go before they made a profit? Bezos didn't care.
No.
And if they go away, we are screwed.
Where will I get our supplies?
But
Like I said, just make you want to run home and hug your teddy bear. So,
but somebody will take them over too someday.
Bezos has already said that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So hey, it's 11:30. That was really fascinating.
Thank you, Steve.
Let's wish Steve a happy early birthday, because tomorrow he's super excited
I'm just so excited.
His birthday tomorrow.
I'm so excited.
I was talking about how when Kelly was little, I think she was turning 5, and the day before she turned 5, she said, "But I'm a little bit 5 now, right, Mom?" So Steve's not in any hurry to turn older, but hey, we're alive and kicking, huh?
Yep.
Well.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. That was really fascinating.
All right, kids.
People that weren't here are going to be listening. I know some couldn't make it because
I'm going to be posting this video, by the way. So
yeah, good. Okay.
Very informative.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy 4th of July.
Bye.